Hello, and welcome back to Jeff's Giant Growing Journal. Today I'm going to give you a little patch tour. It's going to be a rather dismal patch tour. If you don't want to see what happens or could happen potentially, you might just want to stop watching and find another YouTube video to watch. This one is not going to be a very fun video to do, and definitely not a good one to watch if you're looking for something fantastic with these giant pumpkins and squash. This is not going to be the one to watch. It's not going to be all dismal. There's going to be some good things in here, but for the most part, it's going to be a rather depressing video. So first up is the $16.99 tile. Plant looks good, except for where I got too close to the vine tips with the Roundup. You can see the vine tips are turning white over here. Basically, I got too close and I killed them. So, unfortunately, this plant will probably not get any bigger than what it is right now. You can see more vine tips over here that are white. I have a fruit right here. It is very, very small for the age that it is. I'll be honest with you, I don't know exact date, exact age. I want to say it's around probably 12 days old, but I'm going to show you why it's the size that it is. We were supposed to get rain one day and did not get it, so I watered, and then rain came that night, and the next day this is what I saw. She blew up, literally. It happened a few days ago. I've left it on. I don't think it's going to make it, I'll be honest with you. But I figured, what the heck, I really don't have anything to lose. I'm going to leave it on there. I got a fan on there. We're going to see what happens. It just got done watering, so everything's really wet right now. Probably going to have to put this chair over top of this fruit if I think it's going to make it. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's going to. But we're gonna try it. We're going to see what happens. I don't have much other hope on this plant. I did, however, get that covered back up there. Walk you back over here to this side. This is where the former 2195 was. I got some news about that as well. But this morning I was down here checking things out and happened to notice that female. She got pollinated this morning. It's on, I believe, the 5th or 6th secondary on the right hand side. I'm not expecting anything monstrous off of it, but you know what, if I can get a fruit off of it, I'm going to get a fruit off of it. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying. We're going to see what happens. Maybe it's a 500-pound fruit, maybe it's a 1,500-pound fruit, I don't know, but time will tell. We're going to keep pushing with it and see what happens. I mentioned the 2195, that was right there. I actually crossed that fruit right down there with 2195, and if you ask how I did that, this is how I did that. This is a 2195 tile. I did not show anybody this plant. The plant that was down there that I mowed over was actually my son's plant. I was not letting anybody know about this plant. I wanted to keep it a secret for a little while, just to maybe build a little suspense with stuff when I showed up to a weigh off. My plan was to let everybody know about it probably right about the time of the weigh off, but due to the circumstances, I'm letting you guys know a little bit early. I do have a fruit on here for now. I say for now because it is 23 days old today. That is the fruit. It is one ugly thing, but I think it aborted as well. I believe it aborted probably a few days ago is my guess, but it has actually grown, but it's only grown an inch in circumference in 2.5 days. I measure on day 20. That's the first time I measure. It was 118 inches total. I'll save you guys the hassle of trying to figure out how much that weighs. It's estimated at 44 pounds. That's pretty dismal for a 20-day-old fruit. It has grown an inch, but it's only an inch in 2.5 days. Definitely should have been more than that, but we're gonna let that one go. We're gonna see what happens. I haven't given up completely on that plant, or I'm sorry, on that fruit, just because nothing's soft. It still actually is shiny, still looks halfway decent. However, I pollinated that one this morning. Very, very tiny, very, very small fruit for pollination day, but that blossom was open, so I went ahead and pollinated it, just in case that one goes down. Something else with this plant, let me walk you back up around here. This plant was to take up about 1,200 square feet. Biggest plant I would have ever grown. But I don't know if it'll get there or not. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Fruit Sink. Hopefully I can get there. See underneath my stump cover here, you can see I have 2 fans going. One's just kind of a general. That's the one I just turned off and put down. That one there is blowing on the side of the stump. And if I can get it unplugged here, there we go. Get it unplugged, and let me get it moved out of the way. And then I'm going to show you. Came down here, I believe it was yesterday morning, and you see that little slice in there? There was water leaking out the side of it. It was not foaming yet, but it was leaking out there. So I shoved a fillet knife through it, and I cut a section out of it, cleared some dirt away from around the crown there. See if I can get you in on this side. I actually cannot see what I'm halfway decent, but I cut it on as well. I just got done spraying hydrogen peroxide in those cuts to help get rid of any bacteria that may be growing in there. I keep a fan on it. I will keep a fan on it until it heals and it quits foaming when I spray the hydrogen peroxide. That's actually the foam that you see right now. I just sprayed it probably about 10 or 15 minutes ago. And I'll spray it 2 or 3 times a day, like I say, until that stops foaming and it heals up. So not a huge deal. There's some guys that just go ahead and cut the stump, do that to the stump no matter what. I'm not one of those guys. I wait until there's an actual problem before I go cutting on it. But that should not actually even really slow it down. But we'll get it healed up, got the fan back on it, and I'll get this other fan going as well. And I turned the drip line that's going over top of the stump, that has been turned off to avoid any extra water there. And I got a cover over top of it to help the rain, keep the rain away from it as well. So I'll show you the next problem child here. Okay, now I'm inside the greenhouse. Hopefully you can hear me fine. I got the fan going in the greenhouse, plus the other fan down there. And it's kind of off of the fruit right now, but this is the 1109 Jutras. You can see the fruit there. You think it looks halfway decent. I noticed this morning that the blossom did not look quite right, so I cut it off. And I started looking at the fruit. The fruit didn't look real well. It was 20 days old this morning. I actually measured the circumference the other day, and when I measured it this morning, I didn't write down the circumference from the other day, but memory told me that it had not grown. And I come home today from church, and the fruit is soft. There is no shine to it. It has lost its shine, and it is actually turning yellow and not green, which means it aborted. So I now have 2 fruit on this plant that has aborted, and you can see I've terminated the main. which is not good. So basically we are down to trying to put a fruit on a secondary or possibly a tertiary. Let me walk around here. Walk up here, and I've not actually looked to see if there's one on the end of a secondary yet, but right there, probably in about 4 or 5 days, I do have one that will probably open. That is off of a tertiary, so I'm not expecting anything great off of it. But if I have a secondary that's still growing, that has a fruit on it, then I'll pollinate on a secondary before I pollinate that one. But I'll pollinate that one as well anyway. Let me get out of the greenhouse here real quick. Get it turned around here so that you guys can see me, and maybe I can get out here and get away from those fans so that you can hear me. But I've got my suspicions as to why these fruit have aborted. Last year when I grew my 2195 and my 1620 squash, I used Clonex on every single leaf node. Did not have a problem. Everything worked fine. About 2 weeks prior to pollination, I quit using the Clonex. My reasoning for stopping the use of it was my vine tips were laying on the ground. Everything looked fine, the leaves were fine, the vine tips themselves were on the ground. I questioned another grower about it that uses Clonex, and he had said that he'd never seen that before, has used Clonex every year for the last several years. I can't remember if he said since 2019 or 2017, but he's used it and he will continue to use it. I was warned about using it by Chris Rodabaugh. He's fairly certain that is what took him out in I believe it was in 2020. He did not get a fruit to scale. I used it last year, did not have a problem whatsoever. This year I did not use it until after fruit set. I decided to use it. I used it for a couple days of vine bearing. I probably only used it on 2, maybe 3 total vines off of each plant, off of my 2195 that I just showed you, and the 1109 Jutras, and also on the 1699. Now the 1699 blew up, so can't really count that one, but these other two, the 1109 definitely aborted 2 fruit. No questions about it. It aborted both of them. And the 2195, I'm about 99% certain aborted that one as well. The only common theme between them is that I use Clonex. So I would highly recommend not using Clonex. You would think that it's just adding more roots, but there's definitely something that it is adding into the plant itself. What it is, I don't know. I'm not a soil scientist, I'm not a plant scientist, but whatever it is not good for the fruit. So I will not be using it anymore, ever again. And we're going to see what happens on these next fruit that I pollinate on here. I know it's into July now, and I'm not out of the woods yet as far as saying the heck with the season. I've actually pollinated as late as July 29th and grew a 1488. Do I think I can do it again? I did it once. Why can't I do it again? I get these pollinated within the next week or so. Heck, that gives me an extra 14 days in July and August. We could be talking 1,600 pound pumpkins or squash without an issue. No questions. So I haven't given up. I'm not planning on giving up until I absolutely have to. Are they going to set any records? Probably not. But that's okay. I'm going to learn something from it. I'll still learn something from this. I do have one more thing to show you guys. That is bad news, and I do have some good news, so we'll get to that as well. But the other bad news is this right here. So this right here is a groundhog hole. It goes underneath of my pole barn. I've actually got a pile of wood on the other side here, so it's up on skids, and they have burrowed their way underneath of those skids and made their home. You see there I do have a trap set. I have caught 2 so far. We'll see what happens. But the reason I even found out that I had it, I believe I put it on Facebook, was the 1699 got eaten by the groundhog. And so after that, I knew I had a groundhog, and it was just a matter of time before I figured out where it was at and where the hole was. And I found it in the down in the yard one day, and saw where it ran to. And when I come back and I saw this, I knew it was just a matter of time before he was going to be eliminated. And within a day or two, he was done. And then I had to do some rearranging and adjusting to catch the one I caught this morning. And I've reset the trap. I don't know if there's any more, but we're going to find out. They're not going to be able to come out of that hole without getting trapped. So we're going to give it a couple more days and see what happens. Hopefully there's no more, but unfortunately I did actually have to kill, I think it was 5 or 6 of them last year. Not out of this hole, it was out of a different hole. So, but so now I'll show you on to the good part of my patch. Okay, so here is the good part of my patch. It's 150 square feet. It is my 463.5 tile, and I do have one pollinated. It's actually, I believe it's 15 days old today. It looks really big because the fan's got it puffed up. It's not quite that big, but that right there is the best part so far of all of my fruit. Because of the circumstances, I actually did measure it today, just the circumference. I measured it just a little bit ago, and it is about 45¼ inches in circumference, which I think is pretty good for a 15-day-old fruit on a 150 square foot plant. I'll get a full official measurement on day 20, and I'll have to come up with a name by then as well. So be looking out on Jeff's Giant Growing Journal on Facebook for that post, and whatever else happens, hopefully we'll get some good news here on the rest of these plants, and end up with a decent fruit or 4 by the end of the year. So yeah, that's the patch tour. That's the dismal year that I'm having right now. Not real happy about it, but I'm gonna fight through. Like I said, I've grown 1,400 pound before, in, what was it, 75 days or something like that, is how old that fruit was. So, you know, I know I'm not done yet. I haven't completely given up. I'm definitely feeling defeated, but you know, the Lord has blessed me the past 2 years with some fantastic grows, fantastic years when it comes to pumpkin growing. And this year has been some trials, and the Lord says, you know, He's going to put you through trials, and how you come out, it'll only make you stronger. I know He's still got my back. He's still there for me no matter what. And I give Him the glory, because if it wasn't for Him, I wouldn't have that state record right now. I wouldn't have my jacket right now. It is definitely because of Him, and He's got reasons for putting me through this, and one day I'll figure it all out, and maybe it's just to teach you guys a little bit about my grow and things that I have going wrong. Maybe it's to let you know about Him, you know. The good Lord above has definitely blessed me, and He can definitely bless you as well. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, feel free to reach out to me, either through Facebook or even through YouTube, whatever. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification so you know when I post a new video. But until then, God bless and grow big.